Welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together, brought to you by Purple Heart Homes. You're with Leah Gutierrez and Devil Dog Devin.
Hoorah!
I haven't said your name in a while.
I know, right? I was beginning to think you didn't like me.
No, I was just trying to keep it professional.
But what's not professional about saying my name at the top of the show?
You hoorah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, that's a thing that we do,
Yes.
Marines. You say Devil Dog Devin. I gotta do the
Huh?
yeah. Huh? No. That's
It's not huh.
That sounds disgusting. I think I threw up a little bit in my mouth.
So do I when I eat crayons.
Oh,
Kind of gross.
why are you eating crayons?
It's just seeing what they taste like.
Oh, well.
Doesn't taste like the rainbow.
The rainbow.
It doesn't taste like the rainbow.
I don't know what the rainbow tastes like.
Blue tastes like blue.
Blue tastes like blue. Wow.
Anyway.
Are you going somewhere with this?
Yeah, my blue M&Ms that you've been promising me.
About your blue M&Ms. I told you I would get you the purple ones, and I'll lick them until they turn blue. That's fine.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to recover from that one.
No. I painted a visual.
Speaking of recovery,
I like how you did that. Nice segue.
Today we have two folks from the Veterans Treatment Court, which is all about restorative justice, helping veterans recover from their missteps, and instead of a punitive system. It's a wonderful program, and we have Wohali Revels, who is the I wrote it down. The Veteran Treatment Court Coordinator for Iredell County. Could he have a longer title? And Carrie Nitsu, who is the Assistant District Attorney. How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
Doing well. How are y'all?
Well,
We're good.
Yeah, except for the whole tongue-tied thing after trying to say your title.
I apologize. I didn't pick the title.
You didn't pick the title, no. But you did apply for it, and I don't know. I think if it's got more than 5 words, I don't want the title.
Devin, if it counts more than 5, you don't want the title.
Actually, if it's got more than 5 syllables, I'm a little. I feel a little anxious.
Well, it was a blessing to me, that's for sure. So
yeah, you recently took this position, right?
yes, sir. I started on February 3rd.
Why do you feel it's a blessing?
I feel like it's a blessing because it's an opportunity to do what I love, much like y'all do here. It's helping veterans, you know, and that is my community. That is my network. And when they're in need, when they need help, I like to be somebody that they can lean on and count on. And when you feel like you can make a difference, that's even better.
I think it's
as y'all know.
Yeah, and it's part of still being, even though the veterans no longer serving and we're no longer serving, you're still part of a brother and sisterhood where you still want to take care of each other. So there's still that connection where, people want to talk about giving back, which we do give back, but I think it's just part of us to keep that connection with our brothers and sisters and still help one another out, even though we're no longer on the battlefield.
It is the most almost selfish way of serving that there is to do, because in helping one another, you're also helping yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
That's really
just to be surrounded and consumed by essentially your community, where you feel like you belong and feel like you can relate, and at the same time have the pleasure of also helping people.
And you're a veteran yourself, right?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Yes, sir. Of course. Well, I know that, but they don't know that. The people that are listening to the show. What branch were you in? Probably Sorry Army.
You are surrounded, so you might want to watch out.
You're outnumbered right now, Devin, so might want to watch it.
If there's one Marine, you're all surrounded. I'm telling you.
We'll let him think that.
Yes, I joined the North Carolina Army National Guard in 2013, Alpha Battery Field Artillery. Deployed 2015, 2016 to Bahrain, and again 2019, 2020 to Bahrain and Kuwait, Operation Enduring Freedom.
Yeah.
That was
I was in for 7 years, and some of the best years of my life, and
the worst years too.
Everyone who served knows. Everybody who served knows that. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So.
I've heard that a many time, and I've said that a many a time. Carrie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, now Carrie and I kind of know each other in the same circle, even though I left 27 years ago.
Yeah, y'all went to the same high school, right?
That's what we
Graduated a year
just figured
apart.
out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Small world after all.
Well, neither one of you seem to remember each other from high school.
That was a long time ago.
So it's because Leah's natural hair color isn't red. It's in a can, isn't it?
I like that. My brother calls me a blonde with a rusted brain. Sometimes I
You
do
can
act that
tell me,
way.
Carrie. It's just you and me talking,
You're
and that's
definitely
why.
a Marine.
How would you know that, Carrie?
Because I'm married to one.
Oh, yeah. So, wow, you're doing the interview for us. I'm going to
ahead.
sit back, Wohali. So you're married to a Marine.
I am. And I'm the daughter of a Army Vietnam vet.
And wow, that is, they did not get the welcome home that they deserved.
No, sir. They did not.
Yeah. What was that like growing up with a veteran who was in Vietnam? I mean,
Well, my dad's very kind and generally quiet, and it was not something that he talked about.
I hear that very often. It's one of those things like when other veterans talk to Vietnam veterans, sometimes they'll open up and I've heard people who were related to them say, I've never even heard that story, because that trauma, a lot of times people lock it away deep until they meet someone else who they feel might have had similar things. And so I can't imagine what that's like growing up with someone like that, because nobody in my family really served before me.
I don't think either back then in Vietnam, we didn't have the community that we have now, especially after September 11th.
Agreed.
They come back from Vietnam and they just go back to their way of life, to what they were doing, and didn't really have like the VFW at the time, or, Legions where get together, or programs now that we have for our 9/11 wartime. I don't think
Absolutely.
didn't have that connection. And I think it wasn't until after 9/11 when we started going back, we're like, wow, there was a lot of people that were forgotten that didn't
There
even think
really
about.
were. That's why this organization was started, because, one veteran gave a gift to another veteran, and they go, well, why didn't the Vietnam veterans get this? So, real quick, we got about a minute before the break. So were you married to your Marine husband while he was enlisted, or did you meet him afterwards?
Afterwards.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to deal with all the shenanigans of that, but you still have to deal with the shenanigans of being married to a Marine.
Correct.
How's that going for you?
I love him very much.
That's a good answer, Carrie. Oh my gosh. And so you work for the DA's office, and you've been there for quite some time, right?
Over 20 years, yes.
Oh my man, 20 years. You must like it there.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I know you're doing a lot of good over there in the DA's office, and now you're involved with the Veterans Treatment Court, and along with Wohali, I'm sure you're showing him the ropes, and we're going to talk about the Veterans Treatment Court. We're going to get ready and go to a break. We've just
It went by fast.
flew right through this one. So if you want to hear about the Veterans Treatment Court, hey, come on back with us after the break. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. I thought you were going to do it. Rock, paper, scissors.
We didn't do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, I did that in my head.
And wait, so did you win or lose?
Apparently I lost, since I had to bring us back in.
Oh, so losing means you have to bring us back. I thought that's an exciting part.
It is.
It is exciting to tell everybody you're back at the show,
And that they didn't leave.
and they didn't leave, and then you get to tell them all about Purple Heart Homes and how we're committed to helping veterans with housing needs every single day.
And where can they go, Devin, to find out that information?
They could go to phhusa.org. Yeah, and you could join the Hearts of Honor Club, or be a volunteer, and or see all of our social media right there. Speaking of which, if you missed any part of this broadcast, you can not only hear us, but see us on YouTube on Purple Heart Homes channel. So go do that. Click the thing and subscribe and like and all those things that you're supposed to do.
We need more than 12, please.
Yeah. It's really sad. I
Found out my mom was one of those 12. So.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's my mom, your mom, and I think and Joe.
And Joe. Because there was like a couple of times I'd get a text and mom was like, so what was about this dog? And I'm like, what dog? She was like, oh, the one in North Dakota that you went walking around at midnight looking for. Remember when I was a kid?
I do not have any earthly. The only dog I remember on the show is the devil dog.
Anyway, needless to say, I have to watch what I say because my mom watches the show now.
Oh,
Love
man.
you, Mom.
I'm going to intentionally ask you questions from now on that are going to get you in trouble.
Oh, please don't. It's too late now.
Let's ask the guests some questions instead, so I don't get you
In trouble?
Yeah. So, how y'all doing? If for those of you just joining us, we have Wohali Revels and Carrie Nitsu, which I'm scared every time I go to say your name. You would think Wohali would be a harder name to say, but I guess I've just known him longer. I don't know. Anyways, there was a question in there somewhere. Do you remember where it was?
Just go with it.
So how long's the Veterans Treatment Court been going here in Iredell County?
We started, I believe, our first court in September of 23.
In September of 23. And this is, I know that the program, is this a national program? Because I know there's other treatment courts. Or is this more of a localized thing? It's okay if you don't know all the history of, because I know you're dealing with the local part of it.
No, this is more of a local program done on the county level. Mm-hmm. As of now, there are 9 in the state of North Carolina. That is Cumberland County, Iredell County, obviously, Gaston County, Catawba County, Burke County, Buncombe County, Rowan County. 7. I'm missing 2. I think Union.
2 more.
Well, no, just one more. He's got
Union.
One more.
I think Wake also has.
Wow,
That's
veteran
correct. Wake County does have one.
They all have veteran treatment courts. With ours was number 7, so obviously it is one of the newer veteran treatment courts.
Right.
With Gaston and Rowan coming after us. But we all do a great job of working together and bouncing ideas off of each other, even across the state. And none of the other county coordinators have ever hesitated to help me or answer questions of anything that I might need. Just what's working at your court. Maybe we can bring that over here. I know Catawba County has been a huge influence on the Iredell County Veteran Treatment Court.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why Iredell County decided to get on board with this program?
Well, we do. Brad Borders and John Galena came to meet the district attorney and talked to her about Veterans Treatment Court. District Attorney Sarah Kirkman and I was privileged to be able to sit in on that meeting, and they talked about the great things about the Veterans Treatment Court and how you really just needed to see it to believe it. Mm-hmm. And they recommended we go to Catawba County and watch it, and we did, and that is a very true statement. You need to see it to believe it, and we walked away amazed and ready to start the process of starting one in Iredell County.
No kidding. So you've been there from the inception of the Iredell County version.
Correct.
So what goes on with the whole process? Like, how does a veteran get into this program?
You want to start?
Oh, I'll start. I'll start, but you might have to stop me.
Okay.
So generally the way it works is when they are brought in, they are in processed into jail because they come from the jail because, like you said, they backstepped or misstepped or backslid a little bit, which is why they wound up in their situation. But they are interviewed during processing and they ask them, are you a veteran? Well, yes. And if they say yes, I get those names. I go to the jail and I say, you're a veteran, what branch, what years did you serve? I find out their living situation and whether they have a problem with drugs or alcohol, if they have any sort of substance abuse. Verify that they are a veteran and the status of their discharge. And from there, I go and see my friend Carrie, and we take a look at their charges and see whether they would qualify for the veteran court. And then we find out if they would be. We typically talk to their attorney and see if it's something that they would be interested in.
And who makes the determination if they're qualified or not qualified?
The district attorney's office.
So well, with that, the follow-up question is obviously, what determines that? What's a qualified veteran versus a non-qualified veteran?
We take low-level felonies or misdemeanors, non-violent offenses. We don't take sex offenders or sex offenses. And so low-level felonies look like felony drug charges, felony breaking and entering, larceny, misdemeanors, things of that nature. If there's victims involved, I call them, I talk to them, see if they're agreeable to a veteran coming through the process, and I explain the process to them about how it's harder than what I would say would be regular probation, and they've got to want it to succeed. The veteran has to want to have sobriety and a better life to succeed, or otherwise it's going to be hard.
So going through this program is basically allowing the veteran to have another chance.
It is.
But they obviously have to go through steps to regain their sobriety and being able to gain back some of their own control.
So, yes, and a second chance is almost an understatement, and I mean that in the nicest way. A second chance is almost an understatement. This is almost a chance on a leg up, because a lot of the people that come into this program, obviously they need treatment for substance abuse, and we give that to them. We get that to them, whether it's through the VA or or we outsource it through programs like Daymark here in Iredell County and Yadkin County. And then we even go as far as to get them housing, depending on their living situation. If they have no housing, or they don't have transportation and they need to get to their VA appointments after we have set them up with the VSO to work on their service-connected disability rating. And along with that, employment. A lot of the times, if you're homeless, you don't have any transportation, well, more than likely you don't have employment either. And
you're right, yeah.
I have seen participants come in that have all of those things, bad living situation, no living situation, no transportation, no health care no health care, even though they are veterans and eligible through the VA. Well, not everybody can get to the VA for their health care.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And no employment. And by the time they graduate, by the time they get 180 days in, 6 months in, 7 months in, they've got all of those things, and they're reconnected with their family.
I like it that you said it's a step up. I mean, that's a great way of putting it.
It is.
That they're getting the help. Because I don't think veterans coming out know what is out there. And sometimes I think as a veteran, you just kind of deal with what you have. You just adapt with whatever's thrown at you. And you just, I think, get lost in what is available out there for us. You kind of just get stuck in yourself. I mean, I know I have. Through this program, through here, I found out there's so many programs out there that helps.
There really are. Yeah.
Veterans.
We have a lot of community resources that help us with our court.
Yeah.
Really amazing. And yourselves included as one of those resources, because
Absolutely.
A couple of weeks ago, I was at a dedication from a house that y'all donated.
Oh yeah.
To
That's right.
One of our veterans in veteran treatment court. Mm-hmm. He was homeless, and y'all gave him a house, and we dedicated that house to a fallen brother. And now he's not homeless is the point. And because he was in veterans treatment court and because of y'all.
And when you say y'all, of course you mean Purple Heart Homes. Well, Leah did help with the building process. I didn't so much.
Yes, of course, Purple Heart Homes.
I was out there for the volunteer day where we didn't get the fence up exactly straight, but
Hey, you said it was a volunteer day, and you get what you pay for.
that is true. You know, sometimes that's how it works out. That's why we often have to pay professional contractors to come and do some of that work. But that's amazing. And so you have one of those veterans living in one of our tiny homes right now.
Yes, sir.
That's a wow. And was that veteran homeless before this, or was he just in?
I think not homeless, but he was certainly houseless. He was sort of sleeping on couches and staying with family kind of where he could and when he could. And now he has a stable living situation and a dog. So that sounds pretty good to me.
It does. Yeah. That is awesome. Wow. So, hey, we're coming up on a break. We've only got a few moments left. I really appreciate that y'all have come today. But hey, if you've missed any part of this broadcast, you can find us on Purple Heart Homes YouTube page or phhusa.org. You've been listening to Putting Pieces Back Together. Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, presented by Purple Heart Homes. What are you doing, Leah?
It was like your beard was trying to speak for you. Like eating the mic there.
You didn't want to bring us in, and you're like, oh, yeah, you do it. And then you just immediately start messing
Grooming
with
you.
You know, I call you mom for a reason. She fixes my eyebrows. She just like spits on her finger.
That was funny. The look on your face. I remember my mom had dentine gum back in the day. The little red dentine gum, like the size of Trident or whatever. But she'd get out a napkin out of her purse, and it would smell like that as she's like cleaning your face. Like, oh.
Yeah, I do remember dentine. That was good gum. Yeah,
It was.
yeah. They don't got that no more. I don't think, do they?
I think it was replaced by Big Red.
What's y'all's favorite gum? Y'all got a gum? By the way, we're joined by Wohali Revels and
Carrie
Nitsu. I've managed not to mess either one of your names up. Aren't y'all proud of me?
You've done a good job.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you, Devin.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it means the most coming from you there, Wohali. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh my gosh. So before the break, we were just talking about a little bit of the process with Veterans Treatment Court and how that works. How many folks do you currently have in the Iredell County Veterans Treatment Court?
Well, as of today, 2 weeks ago, Friday, we graduated 3.
Correct.
Yes,
Graduated.
graduated 3, and that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but we had 11 at the time, so 3 out of 11 graduated. Now we're down to 8, and we're constantly recruiting, but 3 graduates, 8 in, and I think before the show we were talking, and we have over 6 years.
Yes, we have over 6 years of sobriety.
Over 6 years combined sobriety in Veterans Treatment Court.
Oh, that's awesome. And so we keep talking about the sobriety, and that's because part of this program is that you have to go through a treatment program. And do y'all like check them or?
Oh, yes.
How's that work?
Yes, we absolutely check them, but along with check them, we pair every candidate, every person in the court with a mentor. So yes, so you have that accountability all the time. You have somebody just to talk to a lot of times is what it is. Somebody that you can relate to, and we try to pair the mentors up by branch and age and gender, of course, but someone to kind of help you and, you know, in a way be accountable with you while you're going through this program. And of course they have to do their probation, parole, and their drug screenings, obviously, but it's more than that. You have essentially a battle buddy,
Yeah.
if you will,
Yeah.
to help you get through the program.
Y'all should start calling that instead of mentor. You should be like, hey, this is your battle buddy.
Do you call them battle buddies in the Marine Corps?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes I think we called them that, but we
Or
weren't.
is it just, hey, you?
It was more of that. Like you were not required when I was in to have somebody like by you at all times. I don't know. I think that's the Army because we're afraid of y'all getting lost.
No. Or just like let you guys just roam and just
Oh my
beat 'em out one
gosh.
Marine at a time.
So what does it take to qualify to be a mentor?
Well, that is Brad Border's department. He is the mentor coordinator. Obviously, you have to be a veteran. And, we want someone that's doing well in life as far as, they kind of got it together, so to speak. And they can help. They've got time to help the person along. I'm trying to think. I think most of them are probably retired, wouldn't you say? Most of our mentors.
Right, because you need somebody with time on their hands.
They do need time and patience and just the good type of personality you would need to try to help someone along. And
Does this mentor usually like get them to and from their appointments or help them
they can.
with their court?
You used to be one of our mentors. Maybe you should be answering the mentor questions.
Wow. Yeah. So what did you? Well, Holly, you were a mentor.
That's how. Yes, I was a mentor. That's how I got my start, and then I got promoted to coordinator from mentoring. I started mentoring in 2023, and I think at the very first court, I was a mentor because I did not have a mentee yet, so I would just come to the court and observe. And from that, I eventually got paired with a mentee, and went with him through the program, and kind of stayed by his side and checked on him and did my mentor duties. He and I went to Combat Reboot here, as a matter of fact. He and I came together to Combat Reboot, and that's the kind of stuff that you do as a mentor. And eventually, when this position came open, they saw that I was already essentially doing the job.
Oh yeah.
And they, I applied, and that's how I got on. Now, I can't be a mentor anymore with my position being coordinator.
Right, because it'd be a conflict of interest.
Little conflict of interest there, but now it's kind of like I'm a mentor for all of them and not just one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So
that's a great way of looking at that position as well.
yeah, it is. And my original mentee, he's graduating in July at our next graduation.
He'll graduate at our next one, yes.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome, and it's going to be awesome to get to watch him graduate. Yeah.
How long are they generally in this program?
16 months.
Wow.
It depends.
Well, I spoke too soon.
It depends. It
depends.
should be about that time. It just depends on how many bumps in the road they have.
Oh, so like you could maybe fall off the wagon, so to speak, and then your time starts over, or
Yes, time does start over in different phases if there are positive drug or alcohol screens. So they could be at 75 out of 90 days in one of the phases and have a positive drug or alcohol screen, and then go back to 0 days in that phase. So then that phase would start over.
We have 5 total phases, and we have 5 total phases. Some 120 days, and some are 90 days. So the first 3 are the longest with 120 days. The last 2 are 90. So total, it should be 160 days. Follow all the way through. But if you have a hiccup, a lapse in judgment, well, you don't have to start. That's the good news. You don't have to start the whole program over.
Start that phase over.
Start that phase
Right.
over.
wow,
And your days of sobriety, obviously,
And your
start
days
over.
of sobriety.
that's incredible. I really don't know that much about the program at all, but I have seen some of the results of it, and I've met some of the folks that are in the program, and I can tell you that all the ones that I have met have been very just grateful for the opportunity to be in the program.
Court's open to the public, 2nd and 4th Thursday at 2:00 in the Iredell County Courthouse District Courtroom.
So how can
You're
one
welcome
go
to
about
watch.
being a mentor? Do they have to go through a vetting process as well through your program?
Brad Borders is the
that's right. Okay.
the mentor coordinator, and so if anyone's interested in being a mentor, he is the person to contact.
So is there a website or something that they contact him through, or do we just find Brad Borders on his Facebook page?
He wouldn't be hard to find.
So yeah, if you live around Iredell County, he
right.
is.
Doesn't everybody know him?
Yeah. Well, not everybody doesn't. I honestly didn't know him before I started knowing about Purple Heart Homes. Well, yeah, I guess. But yeah, so I guess if you live in Iredell County and you want to be a mentor, reach out to Brad on his Facebook page. I know it's open to the public because I don't guess he has an official emailed or like a application process or.
No, just
This is probably a little more nuanced, anyways, isn't it?
yeah. It's still, again, it's still a new program, and yeah, it's still a new program. But that's what Brad did with me. He brought me in. He let me observe for a couple of court sessions, and I just got to make the decision whether it's something I wanted to be a part of or not.
Well, hey, we've got to go to a break right now. I guess we've got to. Joe's telling me that we got to pay for the lights and everything. So you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Come back. Oh, thanks, Joe. And welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. Joe usually gives me the thumbs up, and there it is. Now I can start. And welcome back. Oh, wait. Stop.
He's messing with you. He's definitely messing with you. I love.
gosh.
I think it's my favorite when you mess up a little bit because you
And you guys like to, partake on that.
Way funnier that way. Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. You're my new now favorite person. I know, Tier.
Joe's
our fun producer.
He is. Yeah. He's disappearing on us. Where are you going?
Aw. Anyway.
You said bad things to him and he's mad and he's gonna leave us.
He confused me.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Anyway, it doesn't take much.
Well, I got confused when Wohali was counting earlier. I was like, I had to use my fingers. 11 minus 3 is. I was like, I only got 10 fingers. I don't know how you do that one. I'm just gonna have to take off your shoes. You didn't even have to take off your shoes, Wohali. Yeah, that's awesome. That's well. Yeah. Oh, by the way, if y'all are just now joining us, we're here with Wohali Revels and Carrie Nitsu, and I don't know why I struggle every time I say your name.
Just keep practicing.
Yeah. From the Veterans Treatment Court, and man, you were telling us before the break a little bit about the coordinator or position and how you came into that, and so how is that different from being a mentor for you?
Well, the biggest difference is between a mentor and a coordinator is essentially the coordinator kind of controls the chaos. You control it so that not everybody else doesn't have to see it. So when you get the bad reports, or when you have to recruit somebody on their worst day, because a lot of their times they are having their worst day.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's almost your responsibility to shield the mentors from seeing that, to include the team. And it's just Carrie and myself sitting here, but there's a great big old team behind us that the studio didn't have room for.
Yeah, we couldn't fit everybody in here because y'all have a lot of people on this team, right? You have several judges and
absolutely.
Who all's on there? Can you say their names or?
We can say names.
It's up to you. I don't know what's allowed and what's not with the.
Well, like Carrie was saying, the courts meets the second and last Thursday of every month, but the team meets maybe an hour and a half before that, just to discuss our plan of action for what, like moving forward in the courts. And our team consists of.
So we have Judge Carol Hicks as our primary judge in Veterans Treatment Court. And then from the District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sarah Kirkman and I participate in that. We have 2 defense attorneys. We have Brantley Oswalt and Marissa Thompson. And we have Holly, which is our coordinator. We have Brad Borders as our mentor coordinator. His backup assistant is Jared Bowman. We have a VJO from the VA, Atrice Bailey. We have the VSO's office represented by Brooke Music. We have probation officer Ray Dance, who's our probation officer. Kim Miller also assists us greatly on our team. We have Daymark. Courtney Snow comes from Daymark. And we have ICGH that joins us. That's another treatment place.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask what's ICG. Yeah, okay.
I think they're based out of Hickory.
Oh,
And so they join us on occasion.
Sam came to the last meeting ahead of court.
so
Am I missing somebody?
I
I told you
think
not to
that's-
let me forget
and then
somebody.
there's-
I think that's everybody, but it really is a group effort
Right.
of describing the best plan of action for these veterans who are in this program. Like we were just, like Carrie was saying, everyone is represented. If it's Daymark, who is essentially a civilian healthcare provider, or VSO with Brooke there, who makes sure that they get their appointments scheduled, up to Atrice, who works for the big VA, and all the resources that she brings with her, and Officer Ray Dance, who is their probation parole officer and keeps them honest. And of course, Judge Hicks and Kim Miller. What would we do without all them, and Brad and Jared? I mean, it really is a team effort to decide what is going to be best for this veteran moving forward.
right. And then there's a mentor for every single one of these veterans as well.
Yes,
Absolutely.
there
Yeah,
is.
so you've got like a team of like 20 people doing this.
Yes, I do.
The mentors aren't a part of the team meeting because the mentors communicate with the veterans, and that's between them. If that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. Their job is
So the communication is between them, and we decide what's going to happen, whether they get an incentive or a sanction based on their actions. But their communications with their mentor is between the two of them.
that's awesome. Like a little patient confidentiality there. Although I mean they're not doctors, but that's
Right.
kind of the how you're taking that. That's because if you're going through a program like this, you need to have somebody you can talk to and talk freely and not worry about, am I going to get in trouble if I say this?
Exactly.
Wow. And so is there any kind of training that's necessary for doing this?
When we first started, we went through a training. Our funding comes through the BJA from the federal government, and All Rise is the organization that did our training when we first started. Now, Wohali was coming on as a mentor around that time, but we did a training through them. And then does Brad do a training with the mentors?
With the mentors, I think it's a 12-hour online training, and Brad Japp will he'll send you the link in an email.
Former host of Putting the Pieces Back Together.
But
Yeah.
the way it was for me when I got accepted as a mentor, he emailed me the link for the online training, and you do your online training because it tells you what's appropriate, what's inappropriate as a mentor. And once you get your certificate of completion, present it to Brad, and he will pair you with a mentee, with a participant.
And if I know Brad, he's mentoring the mentors along this process.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, but you have to go some additional training, like in Florida or something, or?
Yes. So my first training coming up in April the 9th will be in Winston. So all day on Wednesday, April 9th, I will be in Winston-Salem doing my training for Veteran Treatment Court. It's an all-day thing, so I'll be there all day, and Carrie will be there with me for my first one.
It's a 2.5 day training, and there are parts in there
gosh.
varying through those 2.5 days about Veterans Treatment Court specifically.
So what kind of training are you expected to get from this course?
Well, part of what they're going to talk about is recovery capital, and we talked about that earlier. Coming back together with your family, having your community, having your job, a place to live, and all of those things, and then talking about building the recovery capital. So I want to hear more about that, but just different.
I love that recovery capital. That's a word I've not heard before. And so that essentially means the things that you have gained because
Yes.
you've went through this program, like connection to family, sobriety, a stable
job.
living situation,
Right.
job. Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
A life,
A life.
a life,
A good life.
a good life. A sense of purpose. We all need it, and I mean, the 3 graduates that we just had, with their whole families there at graduation, they were not the same people
No.
that we brought into the program. They were not. They were not the same people that we brought into that program.
Wow. Well, so if somebody wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that? If they had wanted to seek out information about it, or maybe they wanted you to connect them with Brad or whatever it might be, how would they do that, Wohali?
They can reach me anytime at 704-682-8805.
And so
Say it
also,
again.
oh, he's saying repeat it. You got to
Yeah.
repeat it twice for the radio.
A good number to reach me at is 704-682-8805. Ask for Wohali.
Yeah. And so, well, now that's for the Iredell County Treatment Court. But if, some of our listeners are going to be not even in this state, but I know that if there's one of the other counties, you might could connect them with one of those.
Absolutely. We all know each other.
And so also maybe if you're interested in starting a program where you are, I'm sure Wohali would be happy to share information there, because we need these programs all over the country. So if you're listening up, say in Alaska, shout out to you, Mr. Scotty Pig. Then, they can maybe help you with that. We've got about a minute left. Is there anything final thoughts that you want to tell everybody?
We just appreciate all of the community support, and everyone just being so supportive of the veterans. When we had our graduation a couple of weeks ago, it was amazingly evident at how many people supported and loved our veterans, and that was heartwarming, to say the least.
That's awesome.
And I know I'm going to forget people, but Iredell County as a whole has been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Just the Iredell County government, whether it's the sheriff's office or the clerk of courts or DAs.
They are also part of our team, the clerk's office and the sheriff's office.
Yes, the clerk's office, register, magistrates, everybody has been awesome in helping us locate veterans or just any sort of resources that we need. Even the public library has scanned and made copies for us of DD-214s that we've needed.
That's awesome. Wow.
Oh, it definitely takes a village, and that village is there for us.
Great.
So we can't thank everyone enough.
Well, hey, thank you so much for talking about Veterans Treatment Court with us. If you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together, and we'll see you next week. All right, so hey, don't push your microphone away. We're in the what is it, Leah?
Bonus content.
I didn't know that existed. Okay.
This is a myth.
So we if for the folks who are doing YouTube, they get a little extra. So if there's anything you didn't share, we're still rolling right now. You can drink your water. By the way, thank you, Food Line Steve, for this delicious water that you make happen for us. We appreciate
All the
that.
prices right.
Yeah. You're much better than that than me.
And look
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
You're much better than that.
I won't deny that one. This portion of the show is just, hey, if there's anything we didn't talk about, you want to tell a funny story or something.
Come on, I know you got some stories.
I'll tell you what.
Not any for the internet. Can't delete
All
that.
right, fun fact then. That was a little fun fact about you.
Fun fact.
Hobbies?
Hobbies.
Annoying his wife.
Pretty good at that.
Nailed it.
I like going to church. I again, I've been doing this for 18 months as a mentor. I don't know. I really enjoy it.
I know you've basically anytime Purple Heart Homes has an event, you have been there.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Past.
what's that?
In the past.
In the past. Well, you have more responsibilities now, and that's
So Brad, we had Statesville Record and Landmark came and interviewed us a couple of weeks ago in the courtroom, and they asked me. They said, "How did you get into this?" Now, in the show, I kind of cut to the chase about it, but that's how it started for me. Was I got out of the Army, and again, I missed the community, right? But these are all my guys, though. So I've got the inn up here, so I can come to Purple Heart anytime I want and just hang out with John or Andrew Sapala, Matt, Mason, Jason Stevenson. I never know
Matt,
Jason.
Yeah,
I call him Mason. We
some
put it
people
together.
call him Doc.
Yeah, Doc.
Like he's got like 7 names. I don't know what's that as he's doing. It's
And they always just made me feel super welcome and let me hang out. And I think eventually they were like, "Let's get some free labor out of this guy."
yeah.
And they said, "Hey, can you volunteer and build a deck?" Yeah, sure. All right. Hey, can you volunteer and help stand up a flagpole at a veteran's house? Sure. Yeah. And then eventually Brad came and said, "Hey, can you volunteer and be a mentor at veteran court?" I don't know what that is, but yeah, I've never told you no to anything before. So that was really how I got into it. I just was always up here, and I met Brad originally through F3. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, F3, yes. I got introduced to F3 by Brad, and did I ever
What
know
is
this
it?
story?
No, I don't even know what
So
F3 is.
it's faith. Was it Faith, Fellowship, and Fitness?
Faith, Fellowship,
Oh,
and
okay.
Fitness. Yeah.
I don't remember what order they go, but that's the 3 Fs, and it's primarily a men's fitness group. That's
At like
it's
4 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, that's the problem. It's at 4 o'clock in the morning. This is why I
I gave
barely
those
ever get
days
it.
up a long time ago.
So he convinces me that I need to go and be part of this fitness program. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's great." I started the Iredell County chapter of it, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to be out there." He's like, "Yeah, we'll be out there."
I think I was there. I was
I
there.
think you were there actually.
It was 9/11.
No, that was a different one, but that wasn't the first one I'd been to. The first one I went to, I go there and I'm like, "Where's Brad?" And they're like, "Brad hasn't been one of these in like 6 months." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But no, the 9/11 one, oh man.
Yeah. Were you ready for that?
No, I was not.
I was not.
So for our viewers on 9/11, Wohali and I and the whole Iredell County F3 fitness group, we did how many steps is it for the
I think it was 10,000
towers?
It was however many steps that it was for the firefighters that were climbing up the towers on 9/11, which
Yes.
I never thought about that, but those guys couldn't take elevators.
That is true.
So I think it was Brad who had the bright idea that we were going to go to Statesville High School and climb the bleachers, or it was either how many steps or how many stories.
I cannot remember, but I mean, I know it was like 50 something times up those stadium stairs.
Too many.
Up and down. Yeah. I think I started off, I had a rucksack. I was going to do it with the rucksack on me, and I was just not physically prepared for that. So I realized about 10 flights in, I was like, "Look, I'm not going to make it all the way if I do this rucksack," because I had an extra like 35 or 45 pounds. I can't remember what I was choosing at that moment, but it could have been 2 pounds, and I was going, "No, don't want to need it." That was incredible.
That was crazy.
I hurt for a week after that. Yeah.
You're talking about concrete bleachers, and oh my goodness.
Oh man.
My
But
knees and shins the next day.
and so the incredible part about that though is that we were doing it in just, like running shorts and the firefighters, they did that in full firefighting
I
gear.
believe it.
Yeah, I mean, mad respect, and they probably knew they were going to their death. Yeah, that most of them knew that. And so I can't imagine what that experience was like, but I think I want to do that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So, hey, I'm commitment from
Don't
you
look at me.
this year. You and I.
I'll see
Hey,
you
y'all
there.
come out there with us.
Got until September to train.
Yeah. Hey, and if you're from
Okay.
around the Statesville area, you can join Wohali and I on September 11th or there close by. Find us in the comments. We'll figure it out, and we'd love to have you. And look how I've strong armed you into this already. Isn't that awesome?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm here for it.
All right, that's awesome. Well, hey, what about you, Carrie? Do you have any fantastical stories that you didn't get to tell, or?
No, I didn't, but I would feel bad if I did not say this. We talked about how we started in Purple Heart Homes. It was John Galene and Brad Borders that came to us. Well, it wasn't
Right.
just talk for them. They, they paid for the grant writer to get our grant. So without that, we wouldn't have, because I'm not a grant writer at all.
The grant writing is that's that's a special task there.
So I'm very grateful for the payment for that person to write our grant and submit it and navigate that process so that we could even get to the point to receive it and have our court.
Well, I know that Brad and John are very proud of that, and Purple Heart Homes as a whole is proud of being part of the Veterans Treatment Court. So we want to thank y'all for doing what you do there. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when we were at graduation last week, I asked all the veterans to stand up, thanked them for their service, and everyone clapped. And then I asked everyone that was still seated if they loved veterans to stand up. And by the end of that, everybody in the courtroom is standing and we're clapping for our veterans and our graduates. And it was just very heartwarming. So again, you have to see it to believe it. So
That's awesome.
come out and see it.
Wow. Well, hey, y'all have been great guests. Leah, you got anything else to add?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry? I told you you're supposed to eat before the show.
Then stop scheduling at my lunch break.
Right.
Your lunch break's at 11. I scheduled the re-records at 12. Don't you lie to me. Trying to gaslight me on the air? How dare you?
Not ever do that. I would not do that to you purposely.
Purposely. Okay. Well, hey, guys, excuse me, guy and gal.
Y'all.
It's been y'all. Y'all works, doesn't it? It doesn't have, y'all. We have had a great time talking to y'all today. You've been great guests.
Thank
Thanks
you
for inviting us.
Thank y'all for having us.
Well, hey, you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.